Om Shrimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Jnanaanandamayam Devam Nirmalasphatiकाकृतिम् Adharam Sarva Vidyanam Hayagrivam Upasmahe Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhirbhavatu Me Sada. Namaste and offering my pranamams to everyone assembled here. We'll start the Geetaartha Sangraha session number 16, where we'll look at the summary of chapter 12, that is the Bhakti Yoga chapter of Bhagavad Geeta, that is chapter 12. We'll look at a summary. Yatpadambhoruhadhyana vidhvastasesha kalmashah vastutamupayaatoham yamuneyam namamitam yo nityamachyutapadambujayugmarukma vyamohatastaditarani tranayamene asmatguror bhagavatosya dayaika sindhoh ramanujasya charanau sharanam prapadye. Last time we were looking at the summary of chapter 11, where we said Ekadashe Svayathatmya Sakshatkaravalo Avalokanam Dattamuktam Vidipraptyoho Bhaktye Kopayata Tatha. That was what we saw, a summary of chapter 11, which is Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga. Now we look at chapter 12, which is Bhakti Yoga. In terms of size, chapter size, out of the 700 shlokas in the Bhagavad Gita, in terms of chapter size, this chapter 12, is the smallest, having only 20 shlokas in it. So even chapter 15 is small, having 20 shlokas only. But some of the shlokas of chapter 15 are in a longer meter. So they have more number of letters, characters per shloka compared to chapter 12. So chapter 12, everything is in Anushtup Chandas, 32 letters, 32 varnas per shloka, whereas some shlokas in chapter 15 are in Trishtup Chandas, which have 11 into 4, 44 varnas, characters per shloka. So chapter 12 is the smallest chapter in the Bhagavad Gita, but it is a very profound chapter on Bhakti Yoga. Let us look at the summary in the Geetaartha Sangraha. Bhakte Shraishthyamupayoktirashaktasyatmanisthata tatprakarastvati pritihi Bhakte Dvadasha Uchyate. Once more. Bhakte Shraishthyam Upayoktihi Ashaktasya Atmanisthata Tat Prakaraha Tu Ati Pritihi Bhakte Dvadasha Uchyate. That is the summary of chapter number 12. We'll look at the meanings. Bhakte Shraishthyam, that is the greatness or superiority of Bhakti Yoga, is what is told here. Upaya Uktihi, the means thereto, means to develop such Bhakti. Upaya Uktihi means the means. Upaya is the means, the yoga kind of means to develop that kind of Bhakti. Then Ashaktasya Atmanisthata, for a person who is incapable of engaging in such kind of bhakti, engaging in meditation on the Atman, or also Karma Yoga. Tat Prakaraha, the types of qualities required to engage in Karma Yoga. Bhaktehe Atipriti means, Atipriti means, what is Bhakti? Means Atipriti means immense, intense love of the Lord for his devotees. See, first of all, the devotee loves the Lord, and the Lord also loves the devotees, is what is told. Dvadasha Uchyate are told in the 12th chapter. In chapter 12, the greatness of Bhakti Yoga towards Bhagavan in comparison to Jivatma Upasana, explanation of the means to develop such bhakti, engaging in meditation on the self for one who is incapable of engaging in that bhakti, details of the qualities to be had and the modes of sadhana to be practiced, and the immense love of the Lord to his devotees. See, there's a story told There's a book called Stories as Told by Swami Ramadas, who was in a place called Kannangad in Kerala, near Kasargod. There's a ashram called Anand Ashram, where when Swami Ramadas was there, and he attained Mahasamadhi in 1962 or 63. There's a book called Stories as Told by Ramadas, and that's a very beautiful, small, about 100, 110 stories are there. In one story, what Ramadas says is, Narada comes to Dwaraka. If you see chapter 70, 69, 70 of the Dashama Skanda of Bhagavata, Narada comes to visit Dwaraka visit Krishna in Dwaraka. And he comes and he sees all the 16,000 and 16,008 palaces. And in each palace, Krishna is there. In 16,008 forms, Krishna is there in one with each of his wives. So in one palace, Krishna is playing with his children. In another palace, Krishna is helping his wife in the kitchen and everything. And he goes to one palace, and they say Krishna is in the puja room. He's worshipping somebody in the puja room. And Narada is anxious. He wants to know, whom does Krishna worship? Krishna himself is Parabrahma. And who is there in the Koil Alvar, inside in the puja room of Lord Krishna? Who is the deity there? Then Narada peeps and sees, and he sees that, oh, Prahalada, Ambarisha, then Narada, these people are there in the as the deities in Krishna's worship room, puja room. So Krishna is worshipping his own devotees. So that is the immense love of Lord to his devotee, is what is told. That is an example, a short story. I don't know whether the story really exists in the Bhagavata, but it's an interesting story. Now, coming to the Geetaartha Sangraha Raksha, so Swami, I will not read this whole thing. Let us see, Swami Deshikar quotes Shloka 12.1, that is the Bhagavad Gita Avatarike for chapter 12. Then he quotes Shlokas 12.9, then 12.13 to 12.20. So we'll have a brief look at Bhagavad Ramanuja's Bhashya for these shlokas. For shloka number 12.1, that is the first shloka of Bhagavad Gita. Before that, Ramanujacharya gives an avatarike, out of which I show one small sentence. Anantaram Atma Prapti Sadhana Bhutat Atma Upasanat Bhaktirupasya Bhagavad Upasanasya Swa Sadhana Sadhya Nishpadane Shaigryat. So in this sentence, Ramanujacharya is comparing two things. One is bhakti, bhakti rupasya Bhagavad Upasanasya. First point number one. Bhagavan Upasana on the Bhagavan through bhakti. That means loving meditation on Bhagavan. That is point number one. And second is Atma Prapti Sadhana Bhuta. That is meditation on the Jivatman himself for attaining the nature of Jivatma Sakshatkara. Two things. One is attaining of Bhagavan through bhakti, and second is meditation on Jivatman for attaining Jivatma Sakshatkara. Out of these two, Shaigryat, the attaining of Bhagavan through bhakti will give the fruit easier, sooner, at a much quicker pace. It will give the fruit compared to Jivatma Sakshatkara. That is what is told by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita chapter 12. So bhakti on Bhagavan will give more quicker fruits compared to meditation on Jivatman for Jivatma Sakshatkara. Point number one. Next, Bhagavad Upasana Bhagavad Upasanopayah cha tad ashaktasya. If a person is incapable of doing Bhagavant Upasana through bhakti, then for him Akshara Nishtata tad apekshitaha cha uchyante. Then for him, then Jivatma Sakshatkara is what is told. If a person is incapable of engaging in bhakti, then Jivatma Sakshatkara is what he is told. Steadfastness on the individual self as the means, and the prerequisites are all going to be told in this chapter. This is a avatarike from chapter 12 of Bhagavad Ramanuja Bhashya. Next, we go to shloka number 12.9. Athachittam samadhatum nashaknoshi maisthiram abhyasa yogena tato mamichhaptum dhananjaya. What it means is, if Arjuna, you are not able to fix your mind on Bhagavan, firmly on the Bhagavan, For that reason, O Arjuna, by means of abhyasa yogena, by remembering Bhagavan again and again, desired mam praptum ichha is what he says. In order to attain me, you desire to attain me by continuous practice of remembrance. It's only by practice that everything comes, is what they say. For example, if suppose somebody has studied a huge book, say for example they have studied the entire Bhagavad Gita Bhashya of Ramanuja, especially Professor Anantarangachar's book is there in Kannada, which is quite a detailed, elaborate book. Somebody has done a detailed study of that over so many years and finished it. And if that person does not has kept the book aside for a couple of months, then everything will be forgotten. In the same way, if we are not able to, if we are not able to remember Bhagavan once, if you keeping remembering again and again, aharaha is what Ramanujacharya says, every day, anushthiyamanaha is what he says. So that then if the desire to attain is there and done constant remembrance of Bhagavan by abhyasa, then he is be able to be attained, is what is told. Next, what Ramanujacharya says, this is from the Bhashya of Ramanujacharya. Atha sahasa eva mai sthiram chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi. If you are not able to fix your mind firmly on me at once, tataha abhyasa yogena mam aptum ichha. For that reason only, desire to attain me by means of repeated practice. Then here, this is very unique to Bhagavad Ramanuja, this kind of statement, because it comes repeated every time. Whenever Bhagavan's name comes, Ramanujacharya would like to include all the qualities, gunas, kalyana gunas of Bhagavan. If you see, even in the Sharanagati Gadya, or even in the Gita Bhashya, at the very beginning, the Mahavakya is filled with all the kalyana gunas of Bhagavan. We will see that. First, we will see this Nikhila Heya Pratyanika, means opposed to everything which is defective or defiling. That is point number one. In the Ubhaya Linga of Bhagavan, one is Nikhila Heya Pratyanika, second is Sakala Kalyana Gunagana. So, what are the gunas? We'll see. Swabhavikana vadikatishaya. Swabhavika, natural. Swabhavika anavadikatishaya means unsurpassable. What kind of qualities? Saundarya is beauty. Saushilya is affability. Sauharda is friendliness. Vatsalya is affection. Karunya, compassion. Madhurya, sweetness. Gambhirya, majesty. Audarya, magnanimity. Shaurya, heroism. Virya, valor. Parakrama, might. Sarvajnatva, Satyakama, Satyasankalpa, omniscience, omnipotent, omnipresence, and things like that. Sarveshwarasya Sakala Kalyanatva, Sakala Karanatva. He is the cause of everything. Asankhya Kalyana Guna Sagare. This kind of Bhagavan is what we have to imagine, is what is told. So this as I told you, this comes again and again in Bhagavad Ramanuja's Bhashya. Every time he reminds us of the Kalyana Gunas of Bhagavan. Niratishaya prema garbha smriti abhyasa yogena sthiram chitta samadhanam labdva mam praptum ichha is what he says. By means of smriti abhyasa yoga, practice of repeated remembrance filled with incomparable prema or bhakti, not just parrot-like remembrance, but filled with the rasa, bhakti rasa, having attained steady equanimity of mind, desire to attain Bhagavan is what Ramanujacharya tells in the Bhashya. We'll look at a couple of more slokas. Abhyasa yogena, abhyasepi asamarthosi, mat karma paramo bhava. So, in case a person is not able to do abhyasa, means repeated contemplation. See, Bhagavan Krishna also in the Bhagavad Gita knows the practical problems of the people. So he says, in case we are incapable of practicing this kind of repeated contemplation, mat karma parama bhava, engage in single-mindedly in acts performed for Bhagavan's sake is what Krishna says. Now, what is the mat karma parama? Mat karma parama. Mat karma is what we have to see. What are the activities involved which are, he says, engage single-mindedly in activities performed for Bhagavan's sake. What are those activities? Ramanujacharya gives a list of those activities here. Madiyani karmani. What are those? Alaya nirmana, udyana karana, pradiparopana, marjana abhyuksho abhyukshana upalepana pushpaharana puja pravartana nama sankirtana pradakshina stuti namaskaradini tani atyartha priyatvena achara is what he says. So what are all those things? First is building temples, laying out flower gardens, flower garden only for the Bhagavan's Vigraha, Divya Mangala Vigraha Alankara, lighting lamps, cleaning temples, purifying by sprinkling sacred punyaha water, sweeping temple floors, gathering flowers for worship, involving in worship, chanting the holy names of Bhagavan, circumambulating, that is pradakshina, praying, prostrating before Bhagavan. Doing this atyartha priyatvena achara. Doing all these things with utter loving devotion towards Bhagavan, with the bhakti rasa in the mind. All these things are to be done, is what is told, not just mechanical activity. Next, I'll skip this because we are running out of time. Starting from shloka number 12 to shloka number 19, that is 7 shlokas in this particular chapter. Lord Krishna gives a list of all the characteristics, all the gunas which a karma yogi who is who wants to engage in bhakti has to perform. So these are all kind of behavioral patterns, behavioral things which we have to do. As a behavior, we have to do these things, and those are very important shlokas. Shloka number 12.13 to 12.19, 12.13 to 12.19, 7 shlokas, I think. Yeah, 6 shlokas. So he gives about the qualities. I'll tell all the qualities as per what Yamunacharya has explained. First is Adveshta Sarvabhutanam, means not having hatred towards any being, any living being. We will not have hatred. That is point number 1. Maitraha, having friendly disposition. Karuna evacha, being compassionate towards everybody. Next, Nirmamaha Nirahankara. Nirmama Nirahankara means not having the feeling of me and mine. Nanu Nannadu. Nanu Ennudaya Vastuhalu. And the Madri feeling illame. Nirmamaha Nirahankaraha. Not having the feeling of me and mine. Because if you see in Dhritarashtra, in the very first sloka of Bhagavad Geeta, he says, Mamakaf Pandavaschaiva, he says, Mamakaf Pandavaschaiva Kimakurvata Sanjaya. So Dhritarashtra had the feeling of my, Kauravas are my people and Pandavas are not my people, that kind of feeling he had. So a Nirmamaha Nirahankara person will not have that kind of feeling. Next, sama dukkha sukha, treating happiness and grief as the same without getting disturbed mentally. Kshami, having the quality of tolerance. Santushtaha, being satisfied with unexpected gains, means whatever comes, we are satisfied. Satatam yogi, contemplating all the time on the nature of the self detached from matter. Yatatma, exercising control over the mind. Dridha nishchayaha, having firm belief in the teachings regarding the self, means teachings given in the Shastras and teachings given by the Guru. Mayar Pita Manobuddhi means having surrendered mind and intellect unto Bhagavan. Madbhaktaha, worshipping through Karma Yoga. Saha me priyaha, one such person is most dear to me, is what Krishna tells in the beginning. Then I when the shloka number 15, 12.15 is very interesting. Yasmat no dvijate loko, lokat no dvijate cha yaha, is the shloka. Means a person, a karma yogi, a bhakta karma yogi, will not have fear from anybody in this universe, in this world, and he will not cause fear to anybody in this world. So there are 2 examples I want to tell. First is there are some kind of beings from whom we are afraid, right? We are afraid of, for example, normally we are afraid of reptiles, snakes. Suddenly if a snake comes, oh, just run away. We are afraid of snakes. But if you see, there's a Amar Chitrakatha book, comic in the name of Sri Ramanujacharya. There's a Ramanuja Amar Chitrakatha book. I'm not sure whether you have seen it. In that, the cover page of that book, I should have taken a copy and put it here, but there is a picture of a boy who is putting his hand in the mouth of a snake. That picture is there in that Amar Chitra Katha comic front page or cover page. So then Ramanujacharya, when we look inside the book, we see Ramanujacharya asked that boy, "What are you doing?" in the that boy asks. Then that boy says that I'm seeing that this snake is suffering because some thorn is stuck into its mouth. I want to remove that thorn and give the snake freedom from pain, is what that boy says. So that is what is, I am not afraid of any being on this earth. That kind of feeling. Yasmat no dvijate loko, lokat no dvijate cha yaha. That's what I could remember. So how many of us are willing to put our hand in the mouth of a snake to remove a thorn? Only some shishyas of Ramanujacharya can do that. Of course, direct shishyas. I think that's some quality which we have to build up. Next one is there's nobody afraid of me in this world. That kind of feeling. So I'll tell you one short story. In one of my previous companies, um, there was a we used to discuss this chapter. We used to discuss chapter 12, chapter 15, chapter 8, and all. We used to discuss in the lunchtime for about 20 minutes, 15 minutes each. Then there was one of the person who was coming was a secretary of the department head secretary. And this secretary does not have many powers because she is only doing arranging meetings and things like meeting halls and things like that. But there are some people who work under her, means who are under her control, like office boys who are under her control. um, then there were some particular office boys which I knew, which I could make out, were afraid of her because if she gives some complaint to their supervisor, then those office boys will be removed from job. That kind of situation. So then she had kept all the office boys under terror. She was a terror for those office boys, even though she was a secretary. Now I said you should not be like this if you are following this principle. Yasmat no dvijate loko, lokat no dvijate chayaha. If you are following, then no office boy should be afraid of you. That's what you have to practice in life, and then perhaps she started putting it into practice. So in the whole world, nobody is afraid of us. That does not mean that we are allowing accommodative of everybody, which means have to get the work done, but not through kind of a fear psychosis, but through maybe some other means, some diplomatic means, is what I was thinking. Next, harsha marsha bhayodvegaihi muktaha means one who is rid of harsha, amarsha, anger, happiness, anger, fear, and stress. Same yogi, same priyaha is what he says. Next, anapeksha shutir dakshaha. Anapeksha means one who has not interest in anything other than the Atman. Shuchi he is what he says. Shuchi means one who is shuddhi. Shuddha means pure, clean. What is clean? It means if we just apply soap and the most expensive soap and have a bath, then is it that we are clean? No. More important thing is to clean the mind, is what they say. So we can clean the body by using soap, perfume, whatever. We can keep it clean. But how to clean the mind is a big question. Mind is filled with dirt which nobody can see. How to clean the mind? The mind is, they say that the mind is to be cleaned by one. I mean, it's like being alert always. When some impure thought comes in the mind, fill it with the thought of like some Bala Leela of Krishna, or some of our Alvas or Acharyas or something like that. Fill the story of the Acharya in the mind, so that that thought, whatever impure thought, will go away. It means continuously we have to be monitoring the mind, so that at that time when impure thought comes, just think about Periyalvar or Andal or some Srinivasar or Krishna or Rama story or something like that. That's what they say, is to clean the mind. Then Dakshaha, then capable of performing Shastriya Karma. Udasinaha, disinterested in other aspects. Gatav Yathaha, free from agony with difficulties faced while performing Shastriya Karma. Means, see, when we are performing Shastriya Karma, there may so many people who will give obstruction to us. Why are you doing this and all those things? So we have to be free from agony when we are faced with such difficulties. Next, Sarvarambha Parityagi does not engage in acts other than those told in the Shastras. Because in chapter 16 also he says, Krishna tells, Shastra is the only pramana for whatever you have to do and whatever you have to remain away from. So Shastra, we should never be forgotten. Next, there are two more shlokas in this particular thing. It's another 3-4 minutes, I'll close it. Yaha na hrishyati nadveshti, who does not feel joy on attaining something or does not have hatred towards due to causes that are undesirable to normal people. So, and then nashochati na kankshati, does not grieve for anything that causes normal grief to people. Na kankshati, does not desire for such things, for anything. Shubha parityagi, renounces the fruits of nature of good and evil. Yaha bhaktiman same priyaha. That kind of bhakta is dear to me. Na hrishyati na dveshti. If you remember the sadhana saptaka of Bhagavad Ramanuja, there are two things called anudarsha, anavasada and anudarsha. Anavasada means not having kind of despair, and anudarsha means not getting elated by joy. That is what is na hrishyati na dveshti. Next, samashatrau cha mitrecha, being equally disposed to friend and enemy. Tatha manapamana yoho, in honor and dishonor, treating as equal. Sangavarjitaha, not attached to anything. Tulya ninda stutihi. Tulya ninda stuti means whether somebody is praising or abusing, we are not bothered. We are treating them equally. Mauni. This is means keeping quiet by not praising or abusing anyone. See, this Mauni is very important. I think I'm realizing its importance in today's world. Means being silent, because we see in social media, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, WhatsApp, wherever we see some things happening, and immediately I want to have a post and report and tell, oh, my opinion, I want to express kind of feeling. So a true bhakti yoga, or a karma yogi who wants to become a bhakta should not do all those things. He should not have impulsive thing of posting on social media, whatever things come to the mind. That's what I thought. That's the situation like that. Santushtaha yena kenachit, being satisfied with whatever is obtained. This is what Krishna tells in the fourth chapter also. Means, yadricha labha santushtaha is what is told. Means, he is satisfied with whatever comes to him. Aniketaha, not interested in house or others. Sthiramatihi, believing in self, will be believing that self is eternal. Bhaktiman me priyo naraha, that karma nishta who has bhakti is dear to me. See, we have told this, I told this very fast, but it is very, very difficult to practice. Even one or two of them is a quite difficult thing what Krishna has told. So this requires every day. At one point of time, I used to memorize, go through each of these shlokas every day, these 7-8 shlokas every day, so that at least something will come in the practice in daily life. It's very, very difficult to practice all these things told by Lord Krishna. I think we are already crossing the time limit. We'll go to the shloka, Geetaartha Sangraha shloka, that is Bhakte Shreshthyam Yoktihi Ashaktasya Atmanisthata Tatprakaras tu Atipritihi Bhakte Dvadasha Uchyate. So with this, I come to the end of this session. If there are any questions, if I can answer, then I'll answer. If there are no questions, we can straight away go to chanting of chapter number 17. I hope this was useful to you, Bhakti Yoga session.
It's very, very interesting.
I'll close the recording. Before that, I'll tell the prayer. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu Lokas Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Samasta Sanmangalani Bhavantu Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha.